everybody, welcome to my channel. That's right, I homeschool. My name is Mrs. T. I made a poll not too long ago where I asked you guys what kind of videos you would be interested in, and about a third of you requested a video talking about who I am and why we're homeschooling. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to let you know a little bit about me, both how it relates to homeschooling, but also not. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about me because although I'm a parent, I'm a homeschooling parent, and I love both of those things. I also have a side of me that's not at all related to my children. So I'll tell you a little bit about that. And I will also share with you some of the YouTube videos that I like to watch, because I do like to watch YouTube. And we'll talk a little bit about why we're homeschooling, what our philosophy is, and all that fun stuff. So let's go ahead and hop right into it. If you're not really interested in learning about me, and that is a-okay if you don't, I will put a time stamp in the description that will hop you over to where I start talking specifically about homeschooling. But let's go ahead and start with me. So I'm Mrs. T. I'm a mom to two young kids. I have a rising kindergartner and a rising preschooler. I'm a mom to three pesky cats. I have Figaro, Pudge, and Woozle. And I am a total nerd. I embrace it. I am a huge nerd. I love reading. I love board games and video games, and I watch totally dorky shows, and I embrace it. I don't think it's a negative thing at all. It is just me. That's who I am. All right, so let's start with kind of talk a little bit about reading. I really enjoy reading. I would say probably one of my favorite authors is Brandon Sanderson. He is just such a delightful person, and his books are just so engaging and really good. He writes mostly fantasy, but he does have some like sci-fi books as well. And I just really enjoy his writing style and who he is. I love watching his interviews. He's a total gem. Now, from a genre perspective, I read a lot of everything, and I go in waves. Sometimes I'm like super into like murder and mystery thriller. Sometimes I'm really into fiction or historical fiction or fantasy, science fiction, young adult. I go in waves, and I do like a lot of that. I do like a variety. I don't typically only read one genre. However, when I'm in a reading slump, which I do get in reading slumps for sure, I do have a formula for how I get out of it. I typically read one book from Patricia Briggs' Mercy Thompson series. So actually, I just finished reading Fire Touched, and I'm on Silence Fallen right now. And then after I read one or two of her books, I usually hop over to a detective crime series that takes place in the future, and that's by J.D. Robb, aka Nora Roberts. And it's her in-depth series, and I really like this one. I'm like on book 19 or something like that. But that combination always gets me out of a slump. Now, if I had to pick a couple of my favorite books, which is very hard to do, I will say that I probably would mention Pride and Prejudice, Lord of the Rings. Definitely, I love the Lord of the Rings series. I loved The Godfather and Princess Bride, Harry Potter. I actually like a lot. Anna Karenina. I like a variety, and it's kind of hard to choose. I do have, on Goodreads, I have flagged, I think I have like 29 books I've kind of marked as some of my favorites, but I do really enjoy reading and having a variety. I do also watch people here on YouTube, and my two favorite booktubers out there currently are Petrick Leo and Peru's Project. I love both of their channels, and I do like to watch their content relatively regularly. All right, the second thing that I love are board games. I love board games, you guys, and I can't help it. I have a pretty big collection. I play by myself, I play with my husband, and we are starting to play with our kids. And then of course, other adults and people that come over do get lured in by me to play board games as well. I do really enjoy board games. Some of my favorites right now, I do really enjoy Jaws of the Lion. That's like a dungeon crawler, and I do really enjoy that, very story heavy. I love the Harry Potter Battle for Hogwarts game. My husband doesn't like that one as much, but I do really enjoy that one. We really recently got into the Quacks of Quedlinburg, I think is how you say it. It's probably saying it wrong, but we like this game a lot. It's very unique. You're building potions. And also Dominion, we've gotten into Dominion. There are a lot. I really enjoy board games. I like playing by myself, and I do also like playing with other people, like I said. Two of my favorite YouTubers to watch, or channels I like to watch here specifically about board games, is Watch It Played, specifically Rodney Smith. His walkthroughs on how to play games are very enjoyable, And then I also do like 5-minute board games a lot. I do watch that one very frequently. Okay, let's talk a little bit about video games. That's the next thing I really enjoy, though I don't have as much time for video games these days as I used to have pre-children. I wonder why. But I have been a big video game fan for quite some time. So I did play, for example, Sims, and I still occasionally play Sims, but I've been playing since the 90s and 2000s when they really, actually I think it was the 2000s is when it came out. But I have been playing since the very beginning. So yes, I am a millennial. I also really enjoy city builders like City Skylines and Banished. Those are really fun. And I do like just a general variety. Now I will say one of my favorite games that I haven't played now in years is World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft, you guys, I am a wowie. I love World of Warcraft and the story and the nerdiness and the community that comes with it. I don't like that you have to pay for it, and I haven't paid for it for years, but I really do enjoy that one. And maybe when my kids are older, this is something we can do together, but I do really enjoy those style games. Now there are two YouTubers here that I like to watch. I like to watch Lil Simsy, who does sim videos. She's hilarious, a total hoot. And I also love Biffa Plays Indie Games. He does a lot of city skylines and world builders, and I do really like his content as well. So I watch both of those YouTubers in the video game realm. The other thing that I do like to do is I do go on YouTube and I do watch homeschooling content. So some of my favorite homeschooling channels, the ones that I tend to watch more of their videos than others, would be like Brittany Olga. I love Science Mama. She has a lot of really good recommendations. Michelle G and Gathered and Grounded Homeschool. Those are the ones I probably watch the most, though that is just a slice of the pie of the homeschool content that I do consume here on YouTube. I do like to watch a variety, but I would say when they release things, I tend to watch them more often than not. And that kind of brings me on to my next topic here. Why are we even homeschooling? What's our philosophy? Why are we doing this? I love the homeschooling community in the sense that I feel like the reasons why people homeschool are very eclectic, and there are a lot of different reasons why people choose to homeschool. For us, it didn't come because I was homeschooled myself or my husband was. Neither of us were. It didn't come because an incident happened specifically. It kind of naturally evolved into an option for our family based on how we were raising our children. So from an early age with my kids, my husband and I were both very intentional with I would say with how we were, with our parenting style. So for example, we started sign language at a very young age with both of my children to help with communication. When picking out toys, we very specifically did research and found toys that were more supportive of developmental milestones, for example. And then when my children showed a passion with things, we did dive into learning about them as a family. So for example, when one of my kids was into trains, we bought train books about trains, we learned about trains, we went to train museums, and we really just dove head first into learning about these passions. And we also read a lot of books. We read a lot of parenting books, which then kind of morphed into child development books, which morphed then into schooling and learning books, and then specifically homeschooling books. And then I started looking on YouTube, and I found a lot of different families out there, and I started learning about some of the content, the current curriculum, how people leverage it, and started kind of, it really opened my eyes into this world of education that I didn't even really know existed. Like I knew that homeschool was there, but I definitely was somebody who held stereotypical views about what a homeschooling family looked like. I was on the worry train for things like socialization and, you know, what would happen with my kids? Would they be weird? You know, I was definitely one of those people. I didn't know what I didn't know. But the more that I learned about it, and the more that we did this like purposeful learning as a family, we kind of started just shifting toward that homeschooling mentality. And then when it came around time for my husband and I to talk about school, we were kind of fully invested, and both of us knew like that this was the best fit for our family, especially at this point in time. Now, my kids have been in daycare, and they have been now for a while. My older one started at about 1.5 years, and they've been in daycare because I have been working full-time this whole time. Now, I did put in my resignation with my company, which was kind of bittersweet because I've been in the industry now for 11 years, which is crazy. But I did put in my resignation, and we are going to be starting full-time focusing on homeschool with my rising kindergartner and my preschooler in the fall. So we are definitely going to be pivoting more toward that lifestyle. We're jumping in both feet. We are definitely committed. I've also been asked kind of like, what kind of philosophy do we follow with our homeschooling family and our homeschooling style? And honestly, you guys, I would be totally lying if I said we had a specific philosophy. I haven't actually read very many books. I've read a little bit about Charlotte Mason and a little bit about Montessori, but I haven't really been on the hunt to define a philosophy for us. We kind of just create our style based on our family and our likes and our children. So as you guys saw, I'm really into games and reading. And so those have really been a huge part of how we've been raising our kids and teaching our kids. We've been teaching a lot with games and through books. So it's pretty much our personalities which are driving it at this point in time. Though I will say I'm confident when I say that we are not unschoolers. We're definitely not unschooling. We have curriculum and a roadmap. I'm very organized. I created a roadmap. We have a roadmap of where we want to go. And yes, we're definitely not unschoolers. I can say that confidently. Now, when it comes to choosing curriculum, I feel like most curriculum falls within 3 categories: religion-based, neutral, or secular. And I will say mostly for history and science, I'm looking only for secular, but for everything else, I don't really mind one way or the other. I typically lean toward neutral or secular, but we are going to be teaching about religions in our household, which kind of pulls me into our next kind of reason why we're homeschooling, as I do think that we as a family can provide things that aren't currently available for my child, and we can tackle them. So for example, we can learn about religions and what people believe and learn how to respect that and ask questions in a respectful way. And we can also learn things like French that they don't teach. We can learn about social justice that is not specifically taught in a school, especially at this age. There are definitely some things that I'm really looking forward to learning with my child and teaching him. So that's also a big plus. But ultimately, you guys, that's kind of why we are homeschooling and kind of our approach to homeschooling. I have been asked a couple of times if we plan on homeschooling all the way through high school. And I have had people ask me a couple of times, like, what about insert high school subject, like calculus? And my answer is always, we're going to learn addition first, or we're going to tackle kindergarten before we do high school. So we're just going to be tackling this 1 year at a time. Again, I have not homeschooled before. I have not been homeschooled. And although we are finding a good network, I need to still, it's hard for me to envision what the long term is going to look like when we haven't gone through our first official year yet. We've done preschool, but preschool's different, and it was split between daycare and homeschool. So it's very hard for me to envision. However, like I said, I quit my job. We are diving in with both of our feet, and we really do want this to be a long-term, sustainable, healthy, wonderful thing that we are tackling. So we have the intention of continuing, but again, until I get my hands actually dirty and we do it, we're not going to really know what we don't know. So we're going to learn a lot. Our philosophies are going to change. Our subjects are going to change. My teaching strategy will change. Things are going to change and evolve as we do it. And my kids are actually learning. So anyway, I don't have an answer for that yet, but that is it, you guys. That's a little bit about me. I, first of all, would love for you to comment down below. Give me book recommendations, board game recommendations, and video game recommendations, and also tell me a little bit about you. Tell me a little bit about why you're homeschooling. I'd love to learn more about the people who are watching my content. And if you have any questions, comment down below. I will be happy to do a Q&A if I get some questions. All right, everyone, you have a great day, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.